Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda Longdon. This is for educational purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho 4. May the victims rest in peace, condolence to the families, and may the correct justice be served. This is the part 2 of the 911 call. The transcript that came out today. I personally am shocked, baffled. There is a lot in the 911 call that Ann Taylor will definitely use for her defense and her client, Brian Koberger. We were told in the beginning of this case that the two surviving roommates were sleeping in the first floor. We were told in the beginning that this case and this incident took place between 3 to 4 a.m. We heard the police saying to the Banfield boys that it is a quiet night. It was far from quiet. There were 4 figures running. We had the 3 young gentlemen on Banfield. We had Saeed on the Banfield trying to distract the police, in my own opinion. So there was a lot going on. Now when we read the text messages that are coming out, it is shocking. It just proves that these 2 surviving roommates were awake, texting each other on Instagram, Snapchat. They were sending outgoing messages and incoming messages on Snapchat. Now, if these 2 surviving roommates were so scared for their lives, why didn't they call 911? They were texting people from the inside of their houses. They were texting on Instagram, Snapchat, an app called Indeed, YIK, that is anonymous. You can send pictures anonymously within a 5-mile radar. And YIK is usually used by college students. Quite strange. The surviving roommates were calling their parents. BK was calling her dad. He didn't answer. She was calling her mom. She didn't answer. Then she called the house phone. Then the mother called her back. Then her father called her back. We know that DM was texting her father before calling 911. What was exactly going on? Even a 5-year-old child knows to dial 911 when it's an emergency. When people say the surviving roommates were scared, leave them alone. I can't ignore or unsee the transcript. I've always said that, in my opinion, the surviving roommates know exactly everything. DM heard rummaging upstairs. Although it's not in the transcripts, we heard that from Ashley Banfield. Why were they just texting Maddie Morgan, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan? If they heard noises upstairs and they saw somebody in a black clothing and they know the person is not a roommate, why would you think it's a prank? Somebody is actually in your house. Which part of the prank are we supposed to get? Steve Gonsalves said, let's not forget that, there was a hell of a fight upstairs. We know that Xana fought for life. She defended herself. Her fingers were badly injured. May she rest in peace. We know that Kaylee had the most injuries according to her father. May she rest in peace. These 4 students fought for their life. The 2 surviving roommates know something, and it's proved, the proof is out there now, that they were texting each other, texting their fathers. But what shocked me the most is that BF took pictures. She took photos. Trigger warning. Could she have been taking photos of the 4 victims and sending it around? There's a reason that I ask. November 13, 2022. 2 a.m. and 10 seconds. DM texts, e.g., that is Eric, the Uber driver that drove Kaylee and Maddie home. She's inquiring if he's around and if he's still driving. So DM is inquiring if the driver, Eric, is still driving. 2:13, e.g., that's Eric, the driver, texts DM, confirming he was driving. 2:53, MM calls BF, that's Maddie Morgan. Let's not forget, it's possible that MM called BF, or it could be possible that somebody else was using Maddie's phone to call Bethany Funk. We don't know what was going on in the house. We don't know how many people were actually in the house. 3:51, DM creates a new contact in the phone. To create a new contact in the phone while a brutal quadruple was happening doesn't make sense. I wonder whose contact DM saved. 4:19, BF calls DM. 4:20, DM calls Xana Conodle. I don't think there was an answer. They continue texting each other. 3:51, she creates a new contact in her phone. That's DM. 4:19, BF calls DM. 4:20, DM calls Xana Conodle. I don't think there was an answer. 4:20, DM calls KG. 4:20, DM calls BF for 41 seconds. Wonder what that was about. 4:22, DM to KG. That's Kaylee Gonsalves. She says, Kaylee. 4:22, DM to KJ. What's going on? Why would she say what's going on? I'm sure because she's hearing the rummaging upstairs and she knows exactly what's going on, in my opinion. 4:23, BF outgoing message to Snapchat. Now messages, especially I think in 2022, when you send messages in Snapchat, they disappear after a couple of hours or 24 hours. But the FBI would definitely find and trace the whole conversation. If you'll remember Dave was the guy from the college who said in the beginning that when he heard about the Idaho-Moscow quadruples, he said word was going around. People were texting each other on Instagram and Snapchat. Do you all remember what Dave said? Now, what Dave said is actually true. 423 BF outgoing message to Snapchat. BF to DM. Yeah, dude, what the F? Pardon my French. 423 BF to DM. Xana was wearing all black. I don't think that was Xana in the house and they knew it wasn't Xana. Maybe it was someone who was Xana's height, like David Beraccio, in my opinion. Let's not forget what the 4chan said. 423 DM to BF. I'm freaking out, man. 423 DM to BF. No, it's like a ski mask almost. So BF and DM need to decide. Give us the correct description of the person y'all accused the crime of. Y'all said he had bushy eyebrows. If he had a ski mask on, you wouldn't see his eyebrows. Red flag number 1. DM to BF, like he had something over his head and little nod and D mouth. So she's trying to say it was more like a ski mask and he had something on his head. So how would you see his bushy eyebrows? 424 DM to BF. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. 424 and 7 seconds BF to DM. So am I. Obviously they're freaked out because they can hear the 4 victims fighting for their lives. In my humble opinion. 424 DM to BF. Phone is going to die. And you'll know the F word that she's using. Feel uncomfortable using such language. 424 BF to DM. Come to my room. 424 BF to DM. Run downstairs. Run. Okay. Bethany Funk is inviting Dylan to come and run to her room while her active quadruples are taking place. People are unliving victims, but Bethany Funk felt safe to tell DM to run downstairs to her room, and actually BF and DM ended up both in the first floor. What was actually going on? These surviving roommates, both of them have S-kill portal evidence. They're inviting each other down to come down to the first floor when the unalivings was happening on the second and third floor. So if DM was running down, how come the suspect did not see her? If it was a stranger, he would have made sure that there's no witnesses. I personally believe it was somebody they knew, like the Freds. Whether they were working with them, allegedly, or whether they were taking orders from them. So BF is telling DM to run downstairs. BF to DM, down here, come down here. DM calls Ethan Chapin. DM calls Bethany Funk. Bethany Funk calls DM. Look at all the connections here. All of them, the 2 surviving roommates I mean, are quite comfortable to run downstairs because they want the targets, and I believe they knew the suspects. 425 and 16 seconds BF to DM. These people are calling each other and texting each other. I'm sure we'll hear more about it in court. 427 and 11 seconds DM makes an outgoing call. 4:27, DM outgoing message Snapchat. 4:27 and 40 seconds, DM again outgoing message to Snapchat. Wonder what she was sending around. DM calls Kaylee. Then at 4:28, DM calls Zana. 4:29, BF calls Maddie Morgan. 4:30, BF calls Maddie Morgan. 4:30, BF calls Kaylee. 4:31, BF calls Kaylee. Why were they calling? Why were they calling them? Why didn't they just go upstairs? Or why didn't they just call the police? At 4:32, DM texts Kaylee. Pay attention. 4:34, BF accesses Snapchat. So DM is on Snapchat, BF is on Snapchat. They're communicating with people outside the premises, or they could have been inside the premises. And there, so at 4:34, Bethany Funk accesses Snapchat. Isn't that interesting? BF accesses Snapchat at 4:34, but DM was already on Snapchat earlier. This is where it gets interesting. 4:37, BF accesses Instagram. 7:30 in the morning. So there's a gap of 2 hours and 3.5 hours, basically. There's a break there. I don't know what they're doing. Were they cleaning up? Were they crying? Or were they cleaning up the rugs that BF was selling in the house? Her Instagram tells everything. 8 a.m., BF calls Dad again. 8 a.m., BF calls another number. I wonder who she called. Was it her boyfriend? Was it Jack D? We don't know. 8:01, BF calls home. 8:02, BF calls Mom. 8:09, Dad calls BF. Now between 8:05 to 10 a.m., that's 1 hour and 55 minutes, DM was on Instagram. Wow. What was she doing 1 hour and 55 minutes on Instagram? Could she have been texting and sending pictures around? Because we saw the people at Banfield. Saeed was watching Kaylee on the sitting position on a bed, and we saw red liquid. This 911 call is shocking. I mean, the 2 surviving roommates actually being awake, texting each other, calling people on Instagram, or texting people on Instagram and Snapchat and other apps like Indeed and YIK does not make sense. So BF is calling her dad, BF is calling home, BF calls her mom, BF's mom calls her back. 8:05 to 10 a.m., DM is on Instagram. 1 hour and 55 minutes. That's really important. I can't wait for the trial to see what they were doing in the social media and who they were texting. Now this is where I literally froze. At 8:41 to 8:42 in the morning, BF takes photos. Who is she taking photos of? Was she taking photos of the 4 victims? Because we did see, I did expose, and I was the first one to show you the pictures they were watching at the grub truck. I showed you all that people were carrying machetes in the grub truck. I showed you all The Banfield boys, one of them is carrying a weapon in his pants, below his knee, or right above his knee. 10:01, DM is on Instagram. 10 o'clock and 56 seconds actually, DM messages income and outgoing Snapchats. So she's getting in Snapchat messages and she's sending out. I wonder if she's sending the pictures to them. And then at 10:03, DM is back on Instagram. 10:04, DM is on Indeed. Indeed is an app. It is more like when you're searching for a job or not. It's something like LinkedIn. I wonder what job she was searching for when there was an active quadruple going on in the house. 10:23, DM texts Maddie Morgan. They knew, in my opinion, that these 4 victims were gone. Why does this look so staged? In my opinion, 10:24 to 10:25, DM is on Instagram again. 10:30, DM messages incoming and outgoing Snapchat once again. So DM is very busy on Snapchat, Instagram, the app called Indeed, YAKK app, which you can put anonymous pictures. Very strange. 11:21, JM, whoever JM is, it could be J, it could be Jack, it could be anyone. It could be just an initial or a nickname for someone. Text his BF. Wonder what that was about. 10:56 to 11:29, DM is on Instagram and messages on Snapchat. So pay attention to how active DM was on social media. And pay attention to how active BF was on social media with friends, her mom, and her dad. 11:29, DM texts Kaylee. They're texting Kaylee and Maddie like they are not unalived, that they are alive. This is all staged, in my opinion. 11:29 to 11:32, DM on Instagram and messaging on Snapchat. Look at how many times DM is messages incoming and outgoing on Snapchat. 11:35, DM on YIK. YIK is an app where you can send anonymous pictures in a 5 miles range. It's used usually by college students. 11:36, DM is on TikTok. So these people are on all kinds of social medias except YouTube. 11:51, BF texts JM. 11:51, JM texts BF. 11:51 and 36 seconds, JM texts BF again. 11:51, BF texts back to JM. Wonder who JM is. 11:51 and 40 seconds, BF texts JM. 11:51 and 47 seconds, JM texts BF. Is that a sorority sister, a friend, a frat brother? I wouldn't know. This is strange. 11:51 and 47 seconds, JM texts BF. 11:53 and 52 seconds, BF texts JM. 11:53 and 53 seconds, BF texts JM. So there's a lot of connections going on between BF, Bethany Funk, and JM, whoever JM is. JM could have been actually in the crime scene when this was all happening. Anything is possible. 11:53, BF texts JM. 11:53, BF texts JM. Pay attention that they are going to call 911 in literally 2-3 minutes. So pay attention to everything from 11:50 and 51. This JM character comes in. JM texts his BF, BF texts his JM, JM texts his DM too. So they both know JM. Could that be one of the Jacks, but the M? And then at 11:54, JM texts his BF 3 texts. Was he telling BF to call 911? 11:54 to 11:57, DM is back on Instagram like nothing happened. Didn't she need the toilet the whole night? Didn't they hear the dog barking? Where was Murphy? And then at 11:56, BF decides finally to call 911. Steve Gongalves, Kaylee's father, said, "Don't give the surviving roommates any hate or any heat, because even if they called 911, it was too late for the 4 victims." I can understand that. But Steve needs to remember that this was an active crime scene. The 2 surviving roommates should have called 911. There's no excuse for that. They were supposed to be in a frozen state of mind, that they were shocked with what they saw or what they heard, that they decided to lock their doors and not say a word. That's not possible. Why would you not call 911 when you can hear your roommates fighting for their life? They had a lot of self-defense wounds. I wonder why we haven't heard of the autopsy results. I wonder what DNAs or mixed DNAs they found under Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, because they mentioned Maddie. Maddie had 3 unidentified mixed male DNAs under her nails, and I'm sure she tried to scratch the people who were trying to unalive them. These people did this crime on live chats like Snapchat, Instagram, Indeed, YIK, TikTok. Pay attention to all the apps we've heard. I wonder who did they send the pictures to that Saeed was watching, Jovita was watching, the people at the grub truck was watching, and even the 3 boys in Banfield were keeping on taking their phones out and watching. It is heartbreaking to know that these surviving roommates, in my opinion, were awake, they were alert, they were texting each other, they were telling each other, BF was telling DM to run downstairs while there was active unaliving happening. Doesn't make sense. Didn't they see the red liquid on the railing? DM would have seen it. She lives in the 2nd floor. Are they trying to say they didn't see the victims? I don't buy that. Because when they called 911, they called 911 for an unconscious roommate, and the roommate wasn't waking up. That means you saw Xana, or you saw Kaylee and Maddie. They must have seen someone unconscious, according to them, which doesn't make sense because it was red liquid everywhere. It was a bloody crime. So how couldn't they have heard or seen anything? The totality of circumstances defeat the state's request. BF and DM texted each other a handful of times, and then they were in the same bedroom. So that means DM ran. She took the risk to run down to BF's room. So we are talking about two young adults. They both were 20 years old. No excuse that they were kids. These are not 5 years old. I have children that age, and I don't consider them kids. They were together with the ability to talk to each other. They were not asleep for 8 hours. Obviously not. They were on Instagram, Snapchat, Indeed, which is the app, YIK, which is another app that the photos or whatever you put in disappear quickly, and then it's anonymous. They were not asleep for 8 hours. The message is the state seeks admission of as exceptions to hearsay began with a call and a message about being confused. After texting each other and unsuccessfully speaking with any of their roommates, the pair were together. I find that to be very strange. The fact that they didn't call 911 and they were together doesn't make sense. The state is looking at them all the messages with the benefit of hindsight. That's good. The analysis has to be done in the moment of utterances were made. Text messages, in this case, DM first claims confusion, then after that she's communicating with BF. She claims fear to leave her room, but yet again she went downstairs. Despite her state of fear of leaving her room, she does so and joins BF. She goes down to BF's bedroom. Doesn't make sense. I'll let y'all read this for the timing. The state is wrong. DM was awake. She was messaging on Snapchat. She was on Instagram. And she texts with her dad. And this is not an exhaustive list of activity on her phone. She was with BF, who was also communicating with her parents and later with friends. Let's not forget, Bethany Funk was taking photos. And I believe they hesitated with the 911 call because Bethany Funk and Dylan had drugs in the house. That has always been my theory. And they were told by the Sigma Chi fraternities, other frats, whoever was involved, and the sororities to keep their mouth shut. Everybody in the neighborhood could hear the 4 victims fighting for their life, and nobody called 911, not even the neighbors. Mr. Kohlberger urges the state to look at the timelines, basically, and all these texts going around. I don't blame BK. You want to execute a man who could be innocent. And even if BF knew Brian Kohlberger, it would make more sense because he said that BF has exculpatory evidence and I will be exonerated. So BF had to know Brian Kohlberger, and Brian Kohlberger was on drugs 5 years before that. Heroin is a serious drug. As a mental health counselor, I know what addictions are like. I'm not saying BK did this crime. I'm just saying he could have been buying cocaine from Bethany Funk because her Instagram clearly shows that she was a dealer. These people had to clean the house, take the rugs out of the house. They were texting their parents. I don't know if they were lawyering up Why didn't the parents call 911? Now that is my question. Why didn't BF, his mother and father, and DM, his father, why didn't they advise their daughters to call 911? Why didn't the parents of BF and DM call 911 for them? They were texting Maddie Morgan and Kaylee G, may she rest in peace, both of them, around 10 in the morning. They knew that the house was quiet after the unalivings. I've always asked from the very beginning, was there any beef going on with these 5 girls? The Halloween pictures did not look good. It looked like DM was being bullied. Could she have taken part in any of these activities? Or any of these unalivings? I don't mean she physically did it, but I've always believed that the surviving roommates let the people in before the 4 victims came home. That has always been my theory. The person they saw in black that they thought was Xana was one of the frat boys, and they know that exactly. I showed your people with masks. I showed your figures on the floor that looked like Ethan. They knew exactly what was going on. Bethany Funk was taking pictures. What was she taking photos? What kind of photos was she taking? Make this make sense. They tampered the crime scene from the very beginning, and I believe they could have easily planted the knife sheet, touch DNA of co-burgers. It wasn't only the frats, in my opinion, who were doing all this. I've always said, the surviving roommates, no more. 2:55 and 16 seconds. We hear a female yelling, "Stop it! Stop!" This was recorded on the undercover police's body cam. 3:12, we see the victims run. We see the 4 figures running. If you go backwards from 3:12 to 2:53, that's 19 minutes, like the 4chan said. They would do it in 19 minutes.
There is no clear. Stop it. Stop. I'm going to play it again. Listen. 19. There is only one. Karen, what do you think?
So I believe the female yelling, "Stop it, stop," was either Maddie, Kaylee, or Xana. This was when they were fighting for their life. I don't believe anything happened at 4:05. I believe that is a red herring. Everything happened between 2 to 3:15, in my opinion. Listen to the next part, and I really believe that the Linda Lane footage, besides the one that people edited and started faking things in it, most of the Linda Lane actually go together with everything happening at Banfield. "Stop it, stop" is what we heard from Linda Lane too. A female was yelling. I wonder if it was the time they dragged Maddie's coat because it was behind the bushes. I wonder if this black truck was being driven by Kelly. Quincy Kelly was DM's boyfriend, and DM his parents own a truck like this. She had her keys in her hand and she was standing in front of this truck. This truck passed exactly at 3 a.m. But let's not forget, the 4 figures were still inside the house. They left at 3:12. 19 minutes, like they said. Now this part is from Chaos Sector. They did a good clip on Linda Lane. I wanted to show you all the part the female yelled, "Stop it, stop." I showed you all from the police's body cam. Now I'm showing you all from Linda Lane. Stop it. Please stop. That's what Chaos Sector said, but I believe it is stop it, stop. Because that was what we heard from the body cam of the police. So Linda Lane could actually have some truth in it. Just some truth. Please like, share and subscribe. I hope that the correct justice is served. This is not right. And now I understand what Chief Fry said. These 3 came definitely from the crime scene, in my opinion. I wonder if one of the mixed 3 unidentified DNA, male DNAs, under Maddie's fingernails, if one of them could have been number 9. Because, pay attention, he put something in her mouth, so he has direct access to Maddie's mouth. May she rest in peace. He put something in her mouth. So this could be one unidentified male DNAs. The other 2, and the blood on the railing, and the glove outside, just proves that there were more than 3 people who did this horrific crimes. If you read above 2 a.m., basically Ethan's friend said he received a text from Ethan at 2 a.m. and he's almost positive they were still at the Sigma Chi at that time. Based on what the text said, that wouldn't put them at the house until 2:10. And 2:10 is when DM texts the Uber driver asking him if he's around. So Ethan would have been home at 2:10. I believe the unaliving started at 2:10. My son called the tip line and reported this, but they're still saying that they think Ethan and Xana were at the home or at the house at 1:45. Frustrating. This is a cover-up, in my opinion. I wonder if Bethany Funk was sending these photos. What photos was she taking? Was she taking photos of the crime scene? Please let me know what y'all think. And please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Thank you.